In this video, we are going to talk about section 8.6, time and temperature. So let's first talk about time. As you can see, these conversions up here, these are the ones that we're going to use in order to convert between units in terms of time. So 1 day, of course, is 24 hours. 1 hour is 60 minutes. 1 minute is 60 seconds. 1 year is actually 365 1/4 days, but for the point of all of the work we'll do, we'll just go ahead and say use 365. And that's completely acceptable. So the 1/4, we don't need to worry about that. And then 1 week is, of course, 7 days. These are conversion units that you're going to need to memorize, and that they will show up on that final exam. Okay, so then we're going to do unit conversions just in the same way that we have previously. Okay, so let's first start with converting. We're going to convert 7 weeks into hours. So we'll start with our 7 weeks. And I don't have a conversion that takes us right from weeks to hours, but I can go from weeks to days and then from days to hours. Okay, so we'll put 1 week down below, so our unit will cancel. I don't have to spell it out. I guess I could have just done the abbreviation. But 1 week is, of course, 7 days. And then that helps us to cancel our weeks. Get my colors here. And then we also need to go from days to hours. So we know that there are 24 hours in 1 day. So now our days will cancel, and we need to just do some multiplication in order to figure out how many hours we have here. Of course, you know I want to see your work on these problems in order to get them, okay? So I came up with 1,176 hours is the same as 7 weeks. Okay, 3.5 years, and we're going to go to days. So we're going to take 3.5 years, and we know that there are 365 days in 1 year. And so our years will cancel. And we have to multiply 3.5 times 365, and we get 12,775 days. Seems like a lot. Okay. Now we're going to convert from minutes to days. Remember, in this case, I don't have a direct conversion from minutes to days, but I can go from minutes to hours and then from hours to days. Okay, so we know that 1 hour is the same as 60 minutes. And we know that 1 day is the same as 24 hours. So now our units will cancel. So the hours cancel, and so do the minutes. All right, so I take my 7,930 times 1 times 1, and then I'm dividing that by 1 times 60 times 24. So I'll give you a second to go ahead and do that math. Type it into your calculator and figure out what you get. So I got 5.5069. And most of the time I want you to round to two decimal places. So we're going to go ahead and say 5.51 days. Okay. And here we're going to take 39,600 seconds, and we're going to convert that to hours. Again, we're going to go from seconds to minutes. So 1 minute is 60 seconds. And then 1 hour is 60 minutes. Okay, so now our minutes cancel as well as our seconds. So I take my 39,600 and I divide by our 60 times 60. And what do you come up with? 11 hours. So this is how we do our unit conversions using time, using the conversion rates of time. Now we're going to take a look at how we can convert between Celsius and Fahrenheit with temperature. And there's two different formulas. So you always have to look at what you start with and what you want to go to. So if you want to start with Celsius and convert to Fahrenheit, you use this formula, which is the Fahrenheit equals 9/5 times your Celsius and then plus 32. Remember, order of operations tells us that we will multiply first and then add the 32. Versus if you want to convert from Fahrenheit back to Celsius, you're going to do 5/9 times, and then in parentheses here, your Fahrenheit minus 32, we have to do that first because order of operations says we do inside the parentheses first. So we would take Fahrenheit minus 32 and then multiply times the 5/9. Okay, so let's start with this one. I have 42 degrees Celsius and I want to convert to Fahrenheit. So using my formula, that would mean I do 9/5 times my 42. I put it in parentheses, you don't have to. And then I'm going to add to that 32. So when I take my 9/5 and I multiply times 42, I end up with 75.6 plus my 32. And then I come up with 107.6. And I want you to label it as degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, so that means if it's 42 degrees Celsius, that's the same as 107.6 degrees Fahrenheit. That's pretty warm. Okay, what if I have 95 degrees Celsius? Okay, same process. I'm using this formula here. I have 9/5 times my 95 degrees and then plus 32. Remember, order of operations, we have to multiply first. So this gives me 171 plus 32, which gives me 203 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, make sure you label that. Although I will tell you, probably in Moodle you won't have the degrees, and so we'll probably just leave it as the numerical answer. So think about that with the quiz coming up. Now we're going to use our second formula and we're going to convert from Fahrenheit back to degrees Celsius. Okay, so this says Celsius is 5/9 times, here we're going to put in 80 minus 32. So when I do 80 minus 32, of course I get 48, so I'm taking my 5/9 times 48, and what I get here is 26, and then it's 0.666 repeating. So I would say 26 2/3 degrees Celsius. Okay, let's take a look at this one. Same formula here. I'm in degrees Fahrenheit. I'm converting to degrees Celsius. So I have 115 minus my 32. And when I figure that out, I end up with 83. So I take 5/9 times 83. And what I come up with is 46.11 repeating. Well, we remember from that work we did with fractions at the beginning of the term that this is 46 1/9 degrees Celsius. Okay, so that's how we use our temperature formulas to be able to calculate between and convert between degrees Celsius and degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, we'll see you in the next video.